on this episode of Edge of the Web.
And it's that asynchronous nature that's allowing recruiters now to basically say, look, in my old world, I could screen 4 to 6 candidates in a day, and now you could do literally 10 times that.
Your weekly digital marketing trends with industry trend-setting guests. You're listening and watching Edge of the Web. Winners of Best Podcast from the Content Marketing Institute for 2017. Hear and see more at edgeofthewebradio.com. Now, alongside Tom Broadbeck, here's your host, Aaron Sparks.
Good morning to you. Hey, we have a special morning edition. Well, morning in Eastern and across the entire country. We're waking them up at 7 in the morning in California. So get up and let's jump into Edge of the Web today. Hey, we're actually broadcasting from Edge Media Studios in downtown Indianapolis. Every week we bring you the latest trending information in regards to digital marketing as well as marketing influencers. We reach out and we really talk to a lot of great individuals that are making the digital marketing space great for everybody. Check out our recent show at edgeofthewebradio.com. That's edgeofthewebradio.com. If you're not a follower, what's wrong with you? So I'm just going to shame them. Jump in there. We've been doing this for 5 years, and there's great information regularly. But you know, the entire show is actually sponsored by Site Strategics. That's SITE. Strategics.com. We're your agile digital marketing partner focused on agile marketing strategies. And if you don't know what that is, it's really results-based, ever-changing marketing tactics to be able to focus on your growth of your bottom line. So if you're interested in what we do over here at Site Strategics, and I think Tom and I both have the brand today, check out sitestrategics.com and yeah, we'll sit down and have a nice conversation with you and let you know what we do and maybe what we can do to help you. I'm your host, Aaron Sparks, CEO of Site Strategics, and our mission here for Edge of the Web is really a 5-year mission. I'm about to channel Star Trek here. Hold on a second. It has been a discovery. It truly has been to be able to bring a lot of different methods and concepts of digital marketing, demystify them, debunk them, and be able to really reach out to some of the best practitioners around the world and be able to showcase their insights and what they see either trending or what effective results they've been able to have. So check out all of the shows. We talked to so many great performers in this space. I wouldn't do them any justice if I went through just a few. So check out all of the interviews that we've had and give us some feedback regularly. That's how we improve our show on a regular basis. All right, let's introduce everybody who's in the show today. We have Thomas Broadbeck, digital media director over at Edge Media Studios, which is our production brand, our new media production brand of Site Strategics. So how you doing, sir?
Hey, Aaron. Nice shirt.
Nice shirt, too.
Didn't plan it, but we just rock the same clothes, I guess.
We do, man. We absolutely do. Or there's some sort of dress requirement here at the shop now, and you know, it's kind of like going to a private school, I guess. All right. Hey, let's introduce our guest, Aman Brar, CEO of Canvas. Sir, how are you doing, sir?
Doing great. Glad to be here. Thanks a bunch.
We are very, very happy to have you. Hey, and on top of it, this is a Facebook Live podcast. So, and for the audience that's hearing us after the fact, I'm sorry. Join us next time, and you can ask us questions. But literally, dive into the Facebook broadcast and ask us some questions. Ask Aman some thoughts about Canvas, because we're right here. We can field it from you and deliver. Yep. Make some good questions though. Don't be silly. I mean, come on. Anyway, check out all the platforms that we're on. You can see our podcast and all the listening platforms such as iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, TuneIn, SoundCloud, Podbean, Spreaker, Acast. What else we got out there?
That's it. Thankfully, we're still on SoundCloud, which we'll find out in the news segment. But yeah, we've hit them all.
Thankfully, we're on SoundCloud.
You all just have to find out, Aaron.
Okay. All right. Hey, if we're not where you are listening to, just let us know. I'll be happy to jump in and be able to move our content directly to your platform of choice. All right. We'll get the show going here. So I want to make sure that you know our sponsor for this segment is SEM Rush, the world's leading competitive intelligence and keyword research tool used by and trusted by over 1 million online marketers every day to give them an edge on their competition. So if you want to see exactly where your competitors are performing both on the advertising space as well as the organic positioning space inside of search engines, then head on over to semrush.com/edge of the web to get your 14-day trial for free.
Free trial, great software. We love it, and we use it every day. So definitely take advantage of that offer. So
there you go.
It's from me.
From
legit.
Tom. It is legit. All right, hey, let's take you through the latest digital marketing news today.
I was very excited to start my reportings.
This week's trending topics.
Love that intro. That's always fun. All right, so from Mashable, we've got an article from Molly Sequin. LinkedIn is rolling out video creation on its mobile app. Tom, tell us what this is about.
So LinkedIn wants to let users share as much as possible on their site since they got purchased by Microsoft about a year ago. So in their latest effort to create that mission, they're rolling out a new video creation tool within its mobile app. So the feature is only available for frequent contributors right now, but will be available soon for everybody else. And if you wanted to access it, it's not live, unfortunately, but I'm assuming that's coming. But for users with access to the feature, you can find the little movie recording icon just to the left of the camera icon that's always been there.
Yeah.
Click that and give LinkedIn access to your phone's microphone, and you can start recording straight through the app.
So we're about to start streaming.
That's right.
Yeah, they knew they had to do this.
Yeah. They have to compete. So
They have to. So thoughts about LinkedIn as a product?
Yeah, no, hey, I think it's it's certainly a product that has a dominant place in the talent recruiting marketplace, and I think the world's certainly looking forward to see what Microsoft does as a steward of LinkedIn, and I think moving into video is a natural extension of the kind of content platform that they've been trying to move into for business professionals and so forth. So, I think from our perspective, we're excited to see continued innovation and technology in the space, and particularly with certainly one of the anchors in the talent marketplace right now. With LinkedIn.
Yeah, hopefully they did better than the Skype purchase.
Yes, hopefully.
Oof,
So,
that was rough.
yeah, I think with the LinkedIn video, we'll have a lot more professional. You're not going to have a lot of cat videos, I'm assuming. With it within LinkedIn, but so they said LinkedIn here recommends creating videos for work hacks that will increase your productivity, front row seats at the conference.
Oh, cool.
And, those type of things. So it'll be interesting to see how the users kind of use that video platform.
That's going to be fantastic, and not to be completely gratuitous, but I mean it ties directly into Edgecasting. What we do here at the studio is be able to bring some professional quality local broadcast and event broadcast, and LinkedIn will be primed for that. Fantastic. There's the commercial. All right. Hey, from Engadget, John Fingus actually pulled a article out. Amazon Instant Pickup Service gives you your orders in 2 minutes. Now, check this out. Amazon's Prime now usually does the job if you need something in a hurry, right? Even if you can't afford to wait a couple hours. Well, if you happen to live in the right city, you might be able to have a quick fix for that. Amazon has launched Instant Pickup Service that lets Prime subscribers grab food and other essentials, and logically Amazon devices, right, at a staffed pickup location within 2 minutes of ordering them from the company's mobile app.
Yeah. Yeah. So the cities that it's available in right now is Atlanta, Berkeley, College Park, Columbus, Ohio, and Los Angeles. Being in Indiana, Columbus, you have to say Columbus, Ohio, because everybody assumes it's in Indiana. Indiana. But yeah, Columbus, Ohio.
So let me get this straight, because predominantly they have a lot of if you don't have an urgent need for an Echo, right, you're kind of out of luck, right? But for those that have that Echo dot crack addiction, right, you can order in 2 minutes, walk down the street, and be able to pick it up.
Yep.
Yeah. As opposed to picking it up and buying it from Best Buy or Staples.
Yeah, but still, I mean, it's the
Target
convenience sort of thing. So you can pick it up on your own time. I mean, you can
Now, it'd be convenient if you could actually walk by and not go into the store. They throw it at you as you're walking.
Yeah, but
by.
I mean, there's not a Best Buy in downtown Los Angeles. There's not a Best Buy in downtown Columbus, Ohio. So it's for those. That's their demo. Those millennials.
Those dense environments.
And let's be honest, who wants to go to Best Buy? That would be.
I'm actually not allowed anymore. My wife takes away the credit card.
Yeah.
When my wife goes on the Kohl's right there in Greenwood, I have to go to the Best Buy right next door because I'm not going into Kohl's.
It is a vacation from Kohl's. That's for sure. When I think I'm moving to a cabin in the woods is when an Echo that's about to break orders a new Echo to show up at your house. That's when you buy the cabin and you roll.
That's scary.
Yeah, that right?
Literally is Skynet.
That's totally Skynet.
I mean, honestly, okay, we're about to replace a part.
Yeah,
or
exactly.
we really think that you need it in the bathroom now.
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you. I just got a Dot and hooked it up to the Wemo little mini switches, and I have my wife and I's nightstands plugged into the Wemo. Right. Yeah. The funniest thing is I'm literally driving, talking to her as she's getting the kids ready, and they have their slumber time in the bed before they go to school. Right. I go, I have an idea, and I clicked the Wemo app, and the light popped up, and she freaked. It's like, okay, this is just one expensive clapper. She goes, "Hey, Lucan, look at this," and she goes, and then I turn off the lamp, and it's like I'm a trained monkey now. Yeah. So that happened. All right, so another article from TechCrunch. SoundCloud saved by emergency funding. As CEO steps aside from John Constantine. Okay, Tom, you got this one. Tell me.
So SoundCloud's been struggling as of late, and even it says here they laid off 40% of their staff last month to save funding. And I was even reading about how they were having an emergency meeting, which is how this came about. That if you are doing a podcast or you're a musician and you don't have your files downloaded from SoundCloud, you could lose them because it was that dire.
Whoa.
So SoundCloud, I'll just read from the article here. SoundCloud has just closed the necessary funding round to keep the struggling music service afloat. CEO Alex Lung will step aside and will remain with the chairman, while former Vimeo CEO Kerry Trainor will replace him. New York investment bank Rain Group and Singapore Sovereign Wealth Fund have stepped in to lead funding with $169.5 million, but they need to adjust their pricing models, according to the article, to be more viable for the users, and we'll see how long they will.
Almost a free service, and I mean that supported an entire realm of newbie podcasts. I mean that was kind of that lowest threshold of entry into the podcast realm. Wow.
Yeah. So they've been struggling for a while, and I guess it got dire pretty quickly. So now they have 169 million. See how long that lasts. But yeah. So it was literally, I was reading Twitter, and people were like, "Download your stuff off SoundCloud. They're having a meeting tomorrow. Download it."
Oh my lord.
The good news is that the Vimeo team, they've had to fend off a lot of competition, and successfully, right? So I think if there's someone that understands how to navigate a really competitive landscape and keep a company afloat, it seems like that was a good call as far as the leadership team they brought in.
Yep. All right. Well, hey, if you want to know all these news stories and have them delivered right to your proverbial door, we tuck all these news stories and information about who we're actually talking to, who we've talked to, and some nuggets of gold digitally, of course, on our newsletter. So you can actually text to the number 22828, the word Edge Talk, and be able to begin just jump right in there and subscribe. We won't use your email for anything else except bringing you some great information about what the show is, and what we're doing over here at Edge of the Web. And on top of that, you can go to the Edge of the Web website, be able to subscribe right there. So come on board and help participate in making Edge of the Web a continued podcast of relevancy and get some insight into what you're doing as a marketer regularly, weekly. Tom's kicking it all the time. So do that. All right. So follow all the featured trending topics over at edgeofthewebradio.com. So let's do some deep diving with our this week's guest here in-house. So
now it's time for our Edge of the Web featured interview with Aman Brar, CEO of Canvas.
That's a killer intro, man.
Very extreme.
Very edgy. Well, let me introduce Aman. Aman is the CEO of Canvas and has an extensive background in leading technology companies through periods of high growth, and has held key corporate strategic and financial roles at Fortune 500 companies. And recognizing the need for a method to boost recruiting productivity, right? Aman has actually helped launch Canvas, and Canvas is the first enterprise-grade text-based interviewing platform that enables recruiters to screen more job candidates and market employment brands. I mean, that's a fantastic tool, especially in this day and age. So, give us the history of your career,
Sure,
and then we'll
yeah.
jump into Canvas.
Yeah, real quick. I'm an Indianapolis native. After college, ended up in Silicon Valley working for, at that time, the country's first DSL broadband company.
Cool.
So no doubt, this is back in the day where we had to spend advertising dollars on convincing people that there was value to broadband versus just high-speed internet access. So you would say, well, why would I need high-speed internet access? So it was a really wild time to be at the forefront of broadband.
I bet.
So lived through the late 90s, early 2000s kind of boom and bust cycle with the first tech bubble. And that was actually a great learning experience. And so we ended up coming back to Indiana to be closer to family, bounced around at some large corporate Fortune 500 roles, ended up joining Scott Jones's team at Cha-Cha, as Vice President of Business Development, ultimately
Scott's a good
there. And had a really fantastic time in that space. And then ultimately became the president of Apparatus, and we grew from 50, 60 person company here locally to regionally, nationally, and then ultimately were acquired by a global technology firm 2 years ago. Stayed on to integrate the two firms with a wonderful leadership team at Apparatus. Ultimately, our division was about 1,400 strong and global, and that was a really fun, just a wild way to see a company grow from an Indianapolis-based company to a global organization in 5 or 6 years. And then really, Canvas is just something, honestly, we wished we had as we were scaling and growing our company. And, a lot of people ask you where the idea for Canvas come from. And it's like, honestly, it was literally that simple. It's like, we wish we had this tool. And so we thought, well, what the heck, let's go build it. And so spent a couple of months taking the idea and just talking to people in Silicon Valley and Indianapolis, New York City. And the great thing about those conversations was I was getting a lot of enthusiasm from HR executives at key companies. So some of our earliest investors and advisors were, the previous head of talent at Airbnb and now OpenTable, previous head of talent at Salesforce Marketing Cloud, Todd Richardson, Elon Musk, previous vice president of HR at SpaceX, as an investor in the company. And so just those early conversations and seeing, after sharing the idea, that much enthusiasm that, not only does this seem like a great way for the enterprise to connect with their next generation of talent, but it's so great that I'll put my money into this as well. I thought that was a good sign. And so we started putting the team together beginning of the year, started coding in late January, first client in March, and had our public launch on June 13th. So it's been a really wild last 6-7 months.
Absolutely. June 13th of this year.
Yeah. So we're just about 60
this
days.
is like fresh out of the oven, man. I can smell the bread.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's a quick story there. So.
Well, it's certainly an incredible experience.
Yeah.
And a lot of our audience, I'd fair to say, don't have those levels of experience. But at the same time, there's so much culture around these type of movements. I mean, that 60-person group, right? Whether or not you were at the head of that, but there's a lot of cultural dynamics and we're hearing so many stories of these businesses getting bought out. The threshold of entry into new enterprise development for technology and utility type of software and SaaS products. It's right there. There's so much happening, and it's a great, I dare to say, golden age where you can start something, move it quickly, and you don't have to have the 10-year runway. You've got to be aggressive in hitting it and get that valuation, but you could literally see a buyout very quickly. And the people that are on staff here with these organizations, right, to whatever particular position they have, there's got to be that next level of excitement that we're part of this opportunity, not just this type of position that they have, this job.
Yeah. I think we're just, the team that we've constructed, it's a team that's just really committed and dedicated to literally making a dent and making a mark in the talent marketplace. And we're really excited about taking the marketplace to someplace new, especially from humble roots here in Indianapolis, right? I think one of the reasons we've been able to move so quickly is largely, my co-founders are apparatus leadership, everything from our previous founder at Apparatus to our COO and my partners and chief talent officer, we're all involved in the new entity. And I think because we've gone through those wars together already, we're just able to move at lightning speed. So the combination of team, and then what you touched on is just the ability to execute with all these wonderful technology tools and, robust APIs and microservices that exist these days. You're so empowered from anywhere to choose off this menu, combine these tools, add some of your own IP to the mix, and off to the races you go, right? So we just are living in a phenomenal age in that sense. So things that would have taken years before you can accomplish in a month, right?
Yeah.
By weaving these technology tools together.
So along with this, you have to have efficiencies in onboarding. Here's my segue. Efficiencies in getting people involved more quickly, and have to have processes to be able to separate the wheat from the chaff, so to speak,
Correct.
of who you. I mean, you can't have those long, drawn-out interview cycles. I mean, looking for a CIO or looking for a senior developer, it may take you months traditionally to be able to find that person. But with the lightning fast rounds that are in software development now, you have to have tools to be able to screen and be able to find those opportunities much more quickly.
Yes.
And also connect to the culture that is the millennial culture.
Yeah.
And be able to get into their accepted mode or method of communication.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah, you nailed it. I mean, I think you've got both traditional enterprise where let's be honest, it's not just the company screening the candidate, but it's the candidate screening the company, right? I mean, that's the talent marketplace that we live in today. So really, what I love about it is it gives both entities an opportunity to better understand where to invest your time in your next career opportunity. Not to mention something you touched on, which is just the whole notion of the gig economy. And if you think hiring in the enterprise has to be fast, well, in the gig economy, you need to be able to construct a team faster than ever, right? And so I think you're certainly starting to see the market, shift in that way. When I think about, Canvas as an operating entity, we've got our core team, and then we're relying on, many folks outside of the company that are all part of our story, helping us tell our message, build our story, whether it's, everything from PR to could be SEO, could be software development, could be design, right, and UX. So you think about all the partners we're relying on.
Right.
That more and more, that's how companies are getting things done, and being able to screen and assess talent is going to have to be more efficient than ever. And synchronous phone calls have just kind of gone by the wayside.
I'm going to go off reservation here for a little bit, as it just dawned on me that as you are having more and more of these type of needs, these immediate needs, and you are finding these UX professionals, there, am I accurate here that there may very well be a kind of evolution of, you've got the marriage of the gig economy, that these individual developers and designers could literally set up shop for themselves, that they are UX designers for companies that are enterprise grade SaaS environments, that they don't have to be part of your execution and long-term employee of Canvas.
Correct.
You start finding that this guy's a really good designer because he did this company and this company and this company's software, and this group of individuals work well in this type of dynamic. They don't even have to be the bloody employee realm. They can actually work as this type of outside, well-honed, almost like an open source community of, if you want to get this done right, you got a concept, you've got the senior infrastructure, and then you go out and you start finding who's a really good UX developer that has done this, and this for these different teams. Is this the next possible horizon of individuals in the gig space? I
think there's no doubt. I think it's about creating platforms to make those opportunities really efficient in software. I look at the Torchlight Marketing here in Indianapolis, another great example of a company that's helping make those connections happen really efficiently with software. I remember our very first logo. I needed a logo because I was finally going to put a slide together to talk to an investor, and I got on 99 Designs, and I mean literally the the designer that won the contest was, I believe, in Eastern Europe. I'm really not even sure. I don't know if it was a male or female. I know what their kind of game idea is, if you will. And next thing I know, I got a logo and I'm off and running. You know what I mean? So
I had that same weird experience. I did that, and it's like, all right, I can't tell from that her avatar or his avatar. It was just this. Okay.
And who cares? I got quality work, and I spent $200 for it, and off you go. And we've come a long way since that there with our great design and branding partners. But
cool.
But I am a believer that certainly the economy is moving in that way, and I think that the enterprise, right? Think about talent for the large enterprise. They've got to compete on those terms, right? And so I think that's I don't see large companies shifting to a gig economy entirely with regard to their talent marketplace,
right.
But their ability to move quickly and meet talent where they are.
Right.
In the same way that on the sales and marketing side, we're obsessed with how do we meet our prospects where they are, how do we meet our future clients where they are, and I think we just got to meet talent where they are as well. And decreasingly, it's not the desire to be on a 30-minute phone call with a recruiter, right? And I think understanding if there's a reason to have that phone call is where the market's moving and where Canvas is trying to help.
Yeah, so let's jump into Canvas because it literally is one of those utility tools that a fast-moving lightning round of development in the enterprise level SaaS environment needs. They need that type of screening. So why did you start Canvas?
Our team really saw an opportunity for the challenges in scaling hiring when we were at Apparatus. So this notion that we were going to go through this onslaught of 30-minute screens with people all the time. And how many times were you 2 minutes into 30 minutes going, oh, yeah, this isn't going to be, they're not going to love me and I'm not going to love them. And I had this moment where I'm like, imagine if and I'm way out of the dating game, trust me. So 16 years of marriage in, but imagine if Match.com or Bumble worked where you had to schedule a phone screen with everybody that you're interested in. It's not scalable, and it's honestly awkward at this day and age. But yet, for our future life partner, we might use that Bumble or Match as an opportunity to get to know each other before you have that phone call and before you have that date. And it's that asynchronous nature that's allowing recruiters now to basically say, look, in my old world, I could screen 4 to 6 candidates in a day, and now you could do literally 10 times that, right? And so you're managing conversations efficiently. We have these delightful, magical moments that we create with machine learning to help the recruiter be really more efficient. But we're all about human-to-human connection, but leveraging the best of technology to make that happen. And the best thing is, candidates do nothing. They don't have to download an app. They just literally text and reply, and we're really pushing those organic conversations between companies.
So it's not another app that they have to attend to.
All the intelligence and software is on the company side of the equation. I would say the thing I'm most proud of, though, is given our background in technology as a leadership team, the fact that today, 60 days post-launch, we have companies screening and engaging with the following types of talent: welders, machinists, software engineers, sales professionals, physical therapists, nurses, physicians, you name it. And so I think, imagine being an arc welder in a facility in, name a rural town in Indiana. I mean, how are you going to get on the phone during the day to talk about your next opportunity with a company, right? And so we've been able to have a dent and an impact in so many industries already. That's the really exciting part, is that this isn't a tool built for software engineering recruiting. It's really opening up the talent marketplace in ways that I, quite frankly, did not imagine prior to launch.
Well, everybody's tied to this.
That's right.
I mean, you're following the acceptance there.
Yep.
And for everybody who's listening, as opposed to watching, I'm holding up a smartphone. Okay.
Yeah.
So always have to remember that.
Yeah.
But
we need a constant narrator that just talks about what you're doing. It'd be really cool.
Now Aaron's actually referring to this screen.
Exactly.
But I mean, this is where the society has amassed, is that they fully accepted the smart devices, and they're processing things more and more. And you made a comment prior to us going live here, is that you had an opportunity to see my screen, and there was all these unanswered notifications. Right? We are involved in so much of the notification space, and there's so many things that are vying for our attention. Yeah. But as a society, that's what we've created for ourselves.
We have indeed. Yeah.
Right. So what you're doing is matching the transaction, the communication needs, right? And you're also you're giving a huge benefit to the employer, because those awkward. I mean, we remember a couple here from Site Strategics where it's like, okay, what do we do for the next 28 minutes, because this is wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and I think it also helps put the candidate and the company on equal footing, right? Like the candidate can also make can ask questions like, hey, before I come in, just do you have health benefits? Like, you can get that stuff figured out on both ends of the equation, because time's really valuable for everybody, right? It's valuable for the person that might have driven across town to meet with you to be able to ask some questions about this being the right opportunity. It's valuable for the company to certainly scale and be efficient about who they're spending their time with regard to talent in their organization.
Absolutely. I mean, this harkens to another friend of the show, Thorwood from Snapfish. They have this type of restaurateur environment, along with gig freelance bartenders and servers and what have you, and they're leveling the playing field.
Totally. I saw them do a 60-second pitch, and I love what they're about. I think they're doing really, really interesting things.
So tell us what some of the other features that Canvas has.
Yeah, really cool stuff. One of the big things that companies are thinking about are bias in their hiring practices, right? So if you think about people, this is one of those subtle things about Canvas that can get lost in the hype around texting. But imagine how many just trillions of bits of data have been lost through telephone calls, right? I mean, just literally evaporated information, right?
Well, the NSA actually has.
Right. Well, NSA aside, great point, and I that is going to be a future joke that I tell. I like that. I'm stealing that. So that I love that, by the way. So in our world, right? You've now the system's taking notes for you. The recruiter's not sitting there pounding on the keyboard. It's creating this beautiful transcript of the conversation. Now, if you're a recruiter and I want to send it to a hiring manager, in Canvas, you can click one button called masking, and now you don't know if that conversation that you just sent to a hiring manager was with Amy Brown or Aman Brar, right? And we actually, so not only do we remove the name, but we remove any of the gender-oriented pronouns and words that are in the transcript, right? And so we think this could have a really big impact of getting that person on base for that opportunity to interview with a hiring manager. And so we're really proud of some of the things that we can do, leveraging some of our algorithmic software behind the scenes. Other really cool features, if as a candidate's engaging with you, we're teeing up the right answer for the recruiter at the right time. So if you ask about benefits, the system, we actually right now are using IBM Watson, sends a call to Watson, uses some NLP processing, et cetera, and basically presents the benefits document to the recruiter and says, hey, do you want to send that? You click a button and boom, it gets sent right to the candidate's mobile phone. So you can think of lots of different examples where that would be handy, even kind of teeing up the next question you might ask to that candidate. So I hate the fact that this is such a perhaps masculine analogy, but really think about it like a recruiter putting on an Iron Man suit or an Iron Woman suit, right? And so all of a sudden, everything they want to do, they're still in control of. They're just doing it faster, bigger, faster, stronger, if you will, right? And so the human is still at the center of that equation, but you just got all these power tools at your disposal.
Oh, wow. So, that's very cool. Yeah. Hey, would we have time to be able to run a quick video
for sure.
about the software?
Yeah.
I think it's a perfect time to actually get a deeper look into the process and what the entire concept is.
Yeah, awesome.
So let's go ahead and roll that, Jim. I'm literally reaching my phone. Oh, that was a beautiful visual and fantastic getting the entire mosaic of individuals that were doing that type of screening and texting. Again, sorry for our podcast listeners, but we've got the links to the video right there on the on the show notes. That's a great storytelling moment there of exactly what the experience of cannabis is. We also have a couple. Sorry for the audio audience again. We have a couple screenshots of the software. Perfect. Can you post up one real quick, Jim, so we can have a look and Aman can actually talk about it here.
Yeah. So this is the main messaging interface, and one of the key things you see here is that the recruiter's about to mark an answer they received as a positive or a negative, and that allows you to do some tracking. I think what we tend to remember are the really good answers or maybe the really bad answers to things. So this is a really convenient way for the recruiter to kind of keep tabs on those. And of course, to the candidate, it's just text messaging. All this stuff's internal information, and everything you're doing here, you can do via an iOS app or Android app as well. So this is our kind of a web-based software.
So there on the right, is that the person you're texting, or is
that's your kind of guide to who you're having a conversation with?
Cool. So I see the LinkedIn, Facebook.
Yep. So we're pulling, really interested in kind of pulling in the best of what we can understand about somebody.
Gotcha.
And then below there, where you're seeing that kind of bottom frame, that's what we call our questions and resource library. So your screening questions are just a button push away. You flip that drawer up, ask your next question, and then the system starts recommending them as well. And here you can see the system actually recommending an answer to the recruiter. So all the recruiter does to answer that above question is click that paper airplane button, or you could just click the main body and edit that answer as well. So again, recruiter's still at the center of the conversation, but you're kind of becoming this orchestra conductor, if you will, right? And some quick, efficient answers are being represented to you.
Very cool. Another screenshot that we have up there.
Yeah, great. This is a view of our resource library. So great place for talent professionals to store, everything from job descriptions, benefits information. I think it's all the hotness these days to have great videos about your company. Yeah. So instead of sending somebody to your website, right, which come on, who does that anymore? Oftentimes, right? But getting it right to their mobile phone at that really interesting moment, and click-through rates, as you know, are much higher.
Sure. Very cool. Do you have any other screenshots?
There's one more. Yeah.
That's great. Another view of the questions library. So here we're digging into a particular category of questions. You pick the right one and send that right off to the candidate.
Cool. I noticed there's an analytics tab. What's in the analytics section?
Really cool stuff. You get to understand how many candidates you've added, messages you've sent, received, response rates. I can tell you how many times someone's used the word love, for example, in your conversations. All kinds of really interesting things that we're pulling out. We know through correlation analysis, for example, that the longer your text messages are as a recruiter, the longer the candidate's text messages are as well. So just really interesting kind of statistics that are starting to suss out from having this treasure trove of data.
No, that's fantastic. So how many texts or conversions conversations are you allowed to have?
Yeah, so the system can handle it's super highly scalable, right? So our back end developer John Coulter is amazing. Tons of experience at Cha-Cha, Salesforce, et cetera. So kind of computational scale is no problem. We're using the best of web technologies, as you'd imagine, AWS, et cetera, to make sure we're ready. Here we are just 60 days post-launch, and we've, nearly 3,000 candidates have gone through this experience, and we're sending literally tens of thousands of messages with hundreds or so recruiters across the country already using the platform. We actually are we have people here in the States recruiting folks in Australia, even 60 days post-launch. So we're really excited about the impact that we think we're going to have both here in the U.S. as well as globally.
So can you tie in the socials into all this?
Yeah. We're I don't want to get too far ahead of myself, but one thing to think about is that front end of your experience could be social, could be text messaging, could be many things if you think about the way we're developing our engine. So we're really interested in kind of tapping into social and letting people, and there's different preferences in different countries with this, but letting people kind of engage with the company in a way that they want to.
Well, I guess my employer geek is really kind of like the spider sense. It's going now, and I'm wondering from an employer standpoint if you can actually import different trends and things that the candidate has talked about as a screening process. So if we can actually connect to and be able to find out their Facebook, their Twitter, and be able to understand a bit of their profile.
Yep, correct. So we have this portraits page that both summarizes our internal information that we have about the candidate, as well as external feeds that you might be imagining. So that's the next step in our journey that we're really excited about.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. What a fantastic tool. So can you make some templates and questionnaire templates within industries?
Yeah, within industries, even personalized down to the recruiter level, right? You may have questions that you're sussing out on teamwork, but even an individual recruiter might have a different preference about what question they want to ask. So we can personalize that questions library, if you will, down to the recruiter level. And we have some really interesting things that we have in store in the future with regard to our questions marketplace.
Awesome. So, what's the website?
Yeah, you can learn more about us at gocanvas.io. So gocanvas.io.
Awesome.
I love it. So to wrap up, Aman, and we really appreciate you sharing the screen, sharing what's happening in Indy as well. It's fantastic to be able to see this type of growth and this type of startup company that's just nailing it.
Yeah,
and
I appreciate that.
And you're utilizing the best talents and the best type of execution to get this out the door. As you've been in this space for a while with different startups, what kind of bugs you in your industry as from your vantage point right now?
I think I'd like to see, just like in the early advents of the cloud. So my last company, Apparatus, we were really trying to get CIOs and CTOs kind of across that spectrum of adopting the cloud. Everything from there's no way I'm ever going to do that to ultimately, no, it's clear that we're all going to do that.
Resistance.
Yeah, exactly. And so I think, we certainly, I'd love to see, the talent marketplace move along a little faster with regard to thinking about, candidates as a client. Right, of the company in that way. And so we're thrilled with a lot of the leaders and progressive thinkers that we're finding in the talent world. Many of them are early customers and investors. And I think I'd really just urge talent professionals to really rethink the experience that they're putting together for their candidates. Right. And so if nowhere else in their world is the first step a phone call, right, then why would the first step be a phone call for engaging with talent with the enterprise, if that literally doesn't exist anywhere else in the world now? And so I think we just got to continue to understand the experience that we want to create for this next generation of talent.
You have to adapt quickly to these new concepts, and I think we are in a space now where the lessons have been learned. Is that okay? And just the cloud, for example. There's so many benefits, and security is there. But however, I mean, the early adopters, right? They were taking a lot of risks.
Sure.
And you see an exponential reaction that there's a huge amount of response to these type of investments and these type of risks. So everything's moving much more quickly.
No doubt. They also reaped a majority of the rewards, right? So you think about think about the cloud infrastructure that Netflix consumes every day, right? The leadership position that a lot of those early entrants have in the marketplace. So there's no doubt. I mean, the whole world comes down to compromise and risk and reward, and whether it's the innovator's dilemma or otherwise. But I think Canvas may not be right for every company, but it's certainly right for enough companies for it to be a really, really successful enterprise. And so, we're really focused on those that want to be innovators in the talent marketplace. And it's okay if companies need more time to get there. We've got plenty of folks to be engaged with.
Absolutely. Last question. Well, what excites you about your industry that you're in? Because we certainly are looking at a refrain from those slow adopters. But what are you seeing right now? We've talked about it before the show, but.
Yeah, so I'm really fascinated. I think you've got a lot of interest in machine learning and artificial intelligence and how that's going to disrupt many marketplaces, including the talent marketplace. I think where my personal, both I would say capitalistic and civic interest lies is how can you combine humans and machine learning to really build a better experience than either could do independently, right? And so that's really where.
Are you an advocate for the cyborg?
A little bit of an advocate of the cyborg, but I really am thinking about software in a world where we can use the power of machine learning to empower humans, right? And I think that's really where my interest is with Canvas, and I think what we're going to find is that there's something really compelling there, knowing that you can move faster, but you don't need to move the human from the talent equation, and so that's certainly where Canvas interest lies.
Very good, very good. And we have a fun fact we want to round up the interview with. In 2015, April of 2015, as the president of Apparatus, you facilitated the sale of the company to Massachusetts-based Virtusa.
Yeah, Virtusa.
For $34.2 million. You later parted from Apparatus in September 2016. You gave yourself a weekend after your departure to relax, and then the next Monday morning, You you dove right into Canvas.
Yeah, right at Speakeasy. You're down out of Broad Ripple hanging out. Well, as a joke, hanging out with all the kids. Try to stir the pot. But
dude, take a freaking break.
Yeah, I think as you know, market windows open and close so quickly now, and it just didn't feel like a good idea to sit on a good idea. So I decided we better get to work, and I'm glad we did.
Oh, well, I mean, you're demonstrating an example of how you just can't stand still, and in this market space, there's a small window of time for innovators and entrepreneurs to really capitalize on the gap.
Yep. And just like you do, I wake up, I love what I do. Every day I wake up excited about my day. And so, I'm not even sure I felt the need to kind of quote unquote vacation. I mean, I love spending time with my family. I'd missed, honestly, ideally I would have loved to have transitioned out of apparatus and spent the summer at home. My kid wasn't at school, hang out with the family, but that just wasn't in the cards to transition the right way. And let's be honest, once my kid's off to school, there's in fact, I joke, my wife said, now, when you're done here, where are you going to be on Monday? Are you going to be in the house making noise on phone calls? Or are you going somewhere? I'm like, don't worry, honey, I'll be at the Speakeasy. So she loves me, but she knows better than to have me pacing around the house on the telephone all day long. So
whatever you're going to do, just don't do it here.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. She actually said, this is actually my office, right? Like the house.
Wow.
Yeah. It was great.
Go,
it was
go
awesome.
Wifey. That's fantastic.
Chief Household Officer is her.
There we go.
I like that. I like that title.
Predictions of the upcoming Colt season?
Yeah, gosh, man. I mean, I'm sure we're all just sending our best positive thoughts to Andrew Luck's shoulder right now. I want to be optimistic, but I certainly like our chances a lot more with an amazing quarterback like Andrew Luck at the helm. So hopefully he gets healthy and up to speed soon. My hope is that the fact that they haven't pulled in somebody else from the free agent marketplace means that it's a short term kind of situation. So I think we're all hoping that we're reading the tea leaves the right way there, right?
Yep. So. I think. I was along the same lines with you there. They haven't brought anybody in, so I think they were saying maybe not week 1, but maybe week 2. So he hasn't thrown yet, but which is kind of a concern. But we'll see. Should be a good year.
I'm very concerned about that.
Yeah, it was a topic you know very well.
Absolutely, I'm all about that. Now, as long as he can hit the 3-pointer, I'm fantastic. I got a bit of a discrepancy there.
There you go.
All right, so lastly, can we promote anything for you today?
Yeah, no. Hey, I'd love for you just checking us out at gocanvas.io and on social, etc. You can see all those links there, and I think we're looking for as many supporters to tell our story. Really fortunate to have clients across the country, and sharing our story is a lot of fun. It's a fun product that has a lot of efficacy, right? And I think the fact that we've created a product that is fun to use and drives efficiency to the enterprise, is certainly the place we want to be. So love to have you as fans, and thanks for telling our story.
No, absolutely. I'd be interested in seeing what we could do to utilize this for our own organization. Because I mean, we're growing regularly, and we need to be able to. There's a lot of people interested on coming on board the show. Yeah. Not the show, but the ship.
Yeah, sure.
And this could be something that we could even possibly deploy for ourselves.
That'd be awesome, and you'll certainly get our friends and family discount.
Oh, fantastic! I love it.
And there's a demo request button right on our website, and I get those personally. And if you want to talk to me one-on-one, that's a great way to do it, because I'm on demos all day long. In fact, that's what I'll be doing at 11:45 today. So,
all right. So we got to get him out of here. Hey, you can check out all the socials. You got Go Canvas HQ on Twitter, Go Canvas HQ on Facebook, Go Canvas HQ on Instagram. Check out all the socials because they're there. They're pushing content. In fact, it was really interesting. They're doing a great job right now on the live cast. They're popping all over the place.
Oh, cool.
And they're retweeting, and I wasn't able to get to a couple questions there, but it looks fantastic what you guys are doing. They're paying attention.
Yeah. And mad props to the whole team back home, but Amber Ferrari, who's running our social. I mean, she's 3 years out of school and on her second company launch, which is pretty impressive, right? So we're really glad to have her on the team.
Excellent. All right, so thanks for listening to Edge of the Web. Special thank you to my colleagues here in the studio, as well as our guest, Aman Brar. Watch everything that we've got going on with Canvas here. Great local business that's jumping into the national space with a very, very applicable software for everybody's use, not just digital marketers, not just software companies. You've got an industry-wide type of utilization here. So make sure you check out all the must-see videos at edgeofthewebradio.com. That's edgeofthewebradio.com. We'll be talking to you next week. Do we know who's up next week?
I don't off the top of my head.
It's actually me again. It's so crazy. Yeah.
We're doing a serial with Aman. Well, we'll certainly kick that out on the newsletter. So
Andrew Davis.
Andrew Davis. Thank
Yes.
you very much. So we're going to be talking to Andrew Davis here next week. So stay tuned to our regular time at 3 p.m. Eastern for edgeofthewebradio.com. We'll talk to you next week. Do not be a piece of cyber driftwood. Bye-bye.